Hi there, just a quick little one for you here. I've had quite a few emails and even the odd support ticket asking me about the recent Canelo Golovkin fight, a few other bits and pieces mixed in there, and how would I approach it, what are my thoughts on it, and how would I approach training those sort of people, which is be an honour to tell you, Lily. Anyway, on to the fight first of all, Canelo Golovkin. My opinion, watched the fight live, also watched it again just to make sure I wasn't um, letting my personal opinions get in the way. But judging the fight as harshly as I could against Golovkin and being as nice as I possibly could to Canelo, I still gave it in rounds 7-5 to Golovkin. I actually, at the time, and still do think it was an 8-4 Golovkin to Canelo. How the judge got it 10-2 in Canelo's favour, I'll never know. Either totally inept or a lot worse than that. And let's hope it's not that. Let's just hope it was an inept judge, which shouldn't happen anyway. The judge that got it as a draw, again, you've got to say inept. But there you go. That's the way it is. That's boxing. It happens a lot. I'm sure it'll happen again. And it builds up, in many people's minds, a great rematch. Personally, I don't think I should do a rematch straight away. I'll give some reasons for that. But first of all, an analysis very quickly of the two fighters. Canelo, defensive-wise, was very slick, had very good movement, and was able to turn his shoulder, turn away from the right hand and spin out with what appeared to be comparative ease. Golovkin, I have to say, did look much slower than he's ever looked. Now, it could be that Canelo made him look slow, but he just seemed to be much slower. When he was coming in to attack with the right hand, he was throwing it very straight, and obviously Canelo was spinning out of the way. I said during the fight that Golovkin needs to angle that right hand out, or he needs to step off to the side with it. If you look at some of his, well, all of his previous fights, apart from the last two, when he's attacking with that right hand, when he puts it in and he's moving forward, his back leg comes forward and it becomes then his front leg, so his right leg goes from the rear to the front and he moves off to the side and carries on the attack, just like old school fighters used to. If you look at Marvin Hagler, he used to do a similar thing with his footwork. And that's a great way of cutting down distance, cutting off the ring and keeping that relentless pressure on that he's known for. He didn't do that at all against Canelo. And I think had he done that, he would have had a lot more success. Maybe he was thinking of the Canelo counters, which were good, clean, crisp. You know, he was good defensively, but just didn't do enough work. Simple as that. To my mind, still Golovkin won by a large margin. But that's one of the main things that I think that Golovkin should have done during the fight, was that getting that little bit of extra space on his power side and not so straight with the punch, or throw the straight followed by a little bit more of a swinger, if you like. But he had to get that extra distance. He was always that half inch to a few inches out on that right hand. Now, should there be a rematch? No. Because on the same night in England, Billy Joe Saunders fought Willie Monroe Jr., who was in the fight against Golovkin until he got caught. He was in the fight. Very good boxer. And I've got to say, Billy Joe Saunders absolutely dominated that. Really dominated it. He was coming off a long layoff, coming off a long time without training properly, got himself cutting weight properly, training properly, albeit for 12 weeks, and was very sharp. especially his jab and movement from the jab landing. If he wasn't going in, his movement coming back out and moving away after the jab or double jab was really good, really quick. Now I think that's the next fight for Golovkin, and I think Billy Joe Saunders should be pushing for that fight to unify the titles, because in my opinion, Billy Joe Saunders, with a very fast jab and movement in and out, not trading, in and out, I think that's a comfortable points win at the minute, because Golovkin is on the slide. He is too slow for Billy Joe. Hey, that rhymes. He is too slow for Billy Joe. I think Billy Joe will win that fight. I hope they fight next, because I really do think Billy Joe's got a chance of winning that. A good chance. Anyway, other questions that were involved around this was, what would you do if you were training them? Well, it would be amazing to be fortunate enough to be in that position. But with Golovkin's coming near the end of his career, like I said before, he needs that move off to the right against Canelo. If I was fortunate enough to be in a position to be able to, look at these guys training or whatever, only then, when you're actually there seeing exactly what they're doing, could you see if there's anything that you could improve on. Don't forget, these are top people in the world. To even suggest that I might be able to help them is an absolute honour. Thank you very much. But they are, elite fighters. And having trained with some elite fighters, sparred with some elite fighters, and been fortunate enough to be around some elite fighters, the standard, I've said it before the Mayweather-McGregor fiasco, the standard of an elite boxer is beyond what most people can imagine. You look at boxing on TV and you think, he's not all that good, or he looks a bit this, that and the other. But you put him in against a really good, world-class amateur and demolish him. The difference, the levels, it's amazing. Especially when you've got these people out at middleweight, because they hit hard. They really do hit hard, and they're fast. In my opinion, middle, super middle, that sort of area, they are some of the most dangerous people out there, because they are super quick, they hit really hard, and they can take a wallop. And the difference in power between them and heavyweights, yes, there is, of course, there's a difference, but it's not as big a difference as you might think. And the speed is a huge difference. Those middles and super middles, they really are amazing fighters. Okay, there was another thing asking about this, again in reference to the boxing side of things. How would you improve them, or this, that and the other? Again, it's an honour to be even mentioned in terms of maybe trying to improve what they're doing, because they're, like I said, they're the top guys. But you can't, from watching a fight all the time anyway, you can with some people, but you can't say exactly what people need to change. You need to be there with them, especially at that level. You need to be there with them and really be able to see detailed viewing and a detailed analysis of exactly what they are doing, to see if you can help improve in any way, shape or form. In terms of increasing power and things like that, yeah, we can increase power for people very quickly, but at that level that has to be done without any sacrifice of speed, distance, time and everything else. It has to just be, everything else is kept just as good or better than it ever was, and just increasing the power. Now quite often when you increase one thing, it can be at the detriment of something else, so that's something you have to be very careful of in general. But anyway, thank you for people asking me what I thought and stuff like that, and it's an honour to be even thought of that I could help those sort of guys. Anything else, let me know. Thanks again.